Hey dudes, I'm Hilah, and today on Hilah Cooking we are making pad thai. This is a recipe that's been requested several times. It's probably the most famous Thai dish that most people have heard of. It's a noodle dish. We're gonna do some shrimp with it, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I've been trying to figure out how to make this to recreate the first time I had it when I was 19, since I was 19, and I think I finally got it. So I'm stoked to share it with you. Let's get to stir frying. So I've got all my ingredients prepped. That is super important when you're doing any kind of stir fry dish because everything moves really fast once you get going on the heat. So you want to make sure that you've got your mise en place in place. Okay, so for the sauce, I've got some tamarind liquid, tamarind juice, tamarind concentrate. This is what a tamarind bean looks like. You can find these whole in a lot of Hispanic or Latin markets or Asian markets. And then you can find this juice in Asian markets also. So I'm using some of that. If you can't find it for some reason, you could use lime juice, but use a little bit less than the recipe calls for the tamarind because lime's a little tartar. So tamarind is very tart. So we're gonna balance that with some sugar. And I should be using palm sugar, but I am using light brown sugar because it's a lot easier to find than palm sugar. And some fish sauce. And if you are a vegetarian and you don't want to use fish sauce, I think that you can find vegan fish sauce that's sort of flavored like fish sauce but doesn't have fish in it, I think. If not, you could use some soy sauce. So what we're doing here is getting a good balance between sour, which is the tamarind, and sweet and salty, which is the fish sauce. I really like this Red Boat brand. It's just made from anchovies. It doesn't have any sugar or anything in it, so it's just got a clean, salty, briny flavor. Just get that combined. And then we'll set that aside. So I'm using shrimp, like I said. Eggs are pretty much seen in every pad thai unless you're vegan. And then I've got some fried tofu cubes. I fried these ahead of time. If you want to see how to press and fry firm tofu, I did a video on that a long time ago with how to stir fry. So you can go check that out if you want to. Got some peanuts, some bean sprouts, some limes, and then these are called garlic chives. And they're similar to regular chives, but you can see they're really flat. They much more look like a blade of grass, and they're very pungent. They're kind of making the whole kitchen smell garlicky and oniony right now. So if you can find these, use them. They're very perishable, so try to buy them just a day or two before you need them, and keep them in the fridge, just wrapped up in a damp towel, because they'll get kind of soft and gross pretty quick. Or you can use regular chives, or you could use green onions. And then I've got a shallot that I've thinly sliced, and a whole lot of garlic. And did I mention shrimp? I don't know. Okay, and some red pepper flakes. Okay, finally the noodles. So I've got these. This is the kind that I like. They're called rice stick noodles. I like this size medium. You can get them in any width from a 1/4 inch to all the way up to 1/2 inch, and I like something that's kind of in between that. But they're flat and long. And all I've done is taken half of that package and soaked it in some warm water for, it's probably been about 30 minutes now. So they go from looking like this, kind of translucent and a little beige, to looking like this, where they're more opaque and white. And you want to just let them soak until they look like this. And when you bite a piece, between your molars, it feels a little like you're chewing on a rubber band. Not so chewy that you can't, after a couple bites, swallow it and chew it up, it's fine. But the first time you bite into it, it kind of feels like you're biting on a rubber band. So that's good. We're just gonna let them stay in this water. This water has cooled off now. I'm just gonna let them stay in the water until we need to add them to the wok. If you don't have a wok, just use a really big skillet, or even a really big comal. You need something that's big, because this is a lot of stuff that we're going to be putting in here. If you don't have a skillet or a wok that's approximately that size, then you might want to just cut this recipe into two, and you might want to have the recipe. Okay, so we're going to start out with this on high heat. I'm going to add a little bit of oil I'm using safflower oil, but peanut oil is probably more traditional. Once your oil gets hot, we'll add in the shallots and the garlic and fry those for maybe 30 seconds. And in this case, you do want the garlic to get a little bit of color on it, and the shallots will get a little bit brown. Then we're gonna add the eggs and just let them set for about 15 seconds, and then start to break up the yolks and the whites with your spatula so you end up with some distinct chunks of yellow and white. And then we'll add our shrimp. You can leave this out if you don't want to use shrimp, or you can use thinly sliced chicken breasts or chicken thighs instead. We're gonna add the shrimp and cook that for maybe 60 seconds, just until the edges start to turn pink and they start to get a little bit cooked. We don't want to cook them all the way at this point. And then we'll add the tofu if you want to use tofu. So after about 60 seconds of the shrimp here, we're gonna add the noodles. And I'm just gonna use some tongs to lift them out of the water and put them straight into the wok so that they're not drained totally dry. We want a little bit of that water that they're soaking in to cling to them. We're gonna add the noodles. We're gonna add however much chili flake you wanna use, and then we're gonna add the tamarind sauce that we made. And cook and stir fry this for about 5 minutes until the noodles are soft and al dente. And then we'll add half of our peanuts, half of our bean sprouts, and half of the garlic chives. And just stir fry that for another 30 to 60 seconds until the bean sprouts have wilted. And then once all the sauce is absorbed and the noodles are soft, we're ready to serve. Anytime you do pad thai, the noodles kind of separate from the good stuff. So kind of do a little twisty to make it cute. And then you can pick out, if you want tofu or shrimp or whatever. And you noticed I left the tails on the shrimp just because I think it looks a little prettier. And then you just garnish it with more roasted peanuts. And these I just crushed up in a mortar and pestle so that they're various textures and piece sizes. Little peanuts, maybe a little more fresh chives, definitely some fresh bean sprouts. And then serve each bowl with a little lime wedge for some fresh sourness on top. So there you go. So if you like this recipe, check out the how to stir fry video I made a long time ago to see how to fry your tofu if you want to do tofu. I also did a spring rolls video a couple years ago that would be a good accompaniment to this. So let's see how I did. I'll tell ya. So I don't know if you can remember how the noodles were before, but now they're fully cooked. Still, they always have a little bit of a rubberiness to them, but that's part of the pleasure. Oh, this is too big of a bite, as usual. This is pretty much exactly like I remember the first time I ever had pad thai in Boston when I was 19, and I just thought it was like one of the best things I ever ate in my life. And now I can eat it anytime I want to, and so can you. So there you go, there's how to make pad thai. The printable pad thai recipe is on my website at hilahcooking.com. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. And if you make this, send me a picture on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or something and tag me on it at Hilah Cooking because I'd love to see it. All right, thanks, have a great day.